Welcome to Chat and Dish. I'm Casey Quadetti, and today we are going to talk meatballs and lentils. Does that sound like a weird combination? Well, it's actually not, because the protein that we're going to use for our meatballs just happens to be ground chicken breast that we are going to mix in with sun-dried tomatoes and a little zippity-doo-dah of Hungarian peppers. And our lentils we're going to turn into a lovely warm lentil salad that has been cooked with a bouquet garni and then topped with a mustard, in fact a Dijon mustard vinaigrette. Absolutely fabulous. Let's get started. Rinse and drain your lentils, then pick through them to make sure that there aren't any little stones or anything that need to be thrown away. Today I'm using lentils depuis. They're very tiny and very dark green. Lovely flavor to them. If you don't have lentils depuis at your local market, there are a couple of other kinds that are readily available. There's a light green and there's a kind of an orange color. They're both absolutely fabulous. They just take a smidge longer to cook. Let's make a fresh bouquet garni with a few sprigs of fresh thyme. We need about 5 or 6 sprigs of fresh parsley. I like to use the flat Italian leaf parsley. 1 bay leaf. You're always going to have these dried. You should have them in your cupboard. Then we're just going to take some string and we're going to tie these up together. And that's how you make a fresh bouquet garni. It's really very simple. All you have to do is wrap your string around and tie it off. And that'll cook with our lentils. Makes it really easy to get your bouquet garni out. If you put these in, each one is going to fall totally apart. There's going to be 1,000 little bits to pick out, like this piece of cake. 1 small Spanish onion, small to medium size. Just simply cut in half and then add a couple of cloves to each half. Just stick them right in there. That's all you have to do. All right, pop your lentils into a saucepan and then cover them with water. Have it about 1 inch to 1.5 inches above the top of your lentils. Add your onions and your bouquet garni. Then you're going to cover this, bring it to a simmer over medium heat, turn it down to medium low and let it cook. Let everybody get married together and softened up a bit, about 15 minutes. While your lentils are simmering, you've got plenty of time to make your meatballs. You need half of a Hungarian pepper, a nice fresh one. I want you to go ahead and seed that by cutting it in half and just pulling the seeds right out. The seeds are what make it hot and spicy. So just grab those, pull them out and throw them away. Once you get the white pith out and the seeds, just chop it into big chunks. Your Hungarian pepper goes into a blender along with 2 cloves of garlic. Make sure you cut the little root end of your garlic clove off and then just cut them in half and in half again. We need 4 sun-dried tomatoes packed in olive oil. I always like to take a look at them and make sure they don't have too many seeds in them or any brown spots before I throw them into the blender. These are rather large, so I'm going to use 3 instead of 4. It's kind of up to you how you want to do this. Into the blender they go. Salt and fresh ground black pepper. I use about 1/4 teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper and then about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I always find that sun-dried tomatoes are a little bit on the salty side, so I like to hold back on the salt until I've got a chance to taste the finished product. Pulse blend together until you have a nice, really chunky sauce. Add 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs and then just pulse everything together. All right, now we are going to add our Hungarian peppers, our sun-dried tomatoes, and our breadcrumbs to 1 pound of ground chicken breast, 1 beaten egg, and then we're going to mix this together well. Time to make our meatballs. Out of 1 pound of ground chicken, you want to make approximately 20 meatballs. Now what I did was I wet my hands. It makes it much easier to do these and they don't stick to your hands. Once you have a little round meatball, just set it onto a plate where you've got some flour. Makes it really easy, that way they don't stick to the plate. The dressing for our warm lentil salad starts off with 3 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, naturally salt and pepper, about 1/2 teaspoon of salt and about 1/8 teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper, 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar, 1/3 of a cup of a really nice, full-bodied, extra virgin olive oil. Blend these together well. I love to use one of these tiny little wire whips. It's absolutely perfect. You want to have a nice amalgamation. Everything gets blended together and you have a wonderful, thick, creamy vinaigrette. Okay, the all-important taste test. Fabulous. A couple of more steps and our salad is done. We want to drain our lentils. Take out your bouquet garni and toss that away. Same goes for the onions, just toss those away. Chop 2 shallots, add them to your warm lentils. Now pour your lovely vinaigrette over your lentils, and I want you to take a nice big spoon and mix it together well. All right, taste test time. It's got such a zip. It's absolutely fantastic. Well done, Casey. For meatballs, you want to preheat a saute pan with a couple of tablespoons of a really nice olive oil. Meatballs go into our warmed oil. Make sure there's a little space in between each meatball. Our meatballs are lightly browned. They're not cooked inside yet, but go ahead and take them out of the pan and set them aside. Add a cup of chopped tomatoes to your pan, teaspoon of garlic powder, and a tablespoon of dried oregano. Just mix these together. Sauce is nicely bubbling. This is kind of the speed dating version of making a red sauce. It's actually just tomatoes to go with our meatballs. And now it's time to put them back into the red sauce. Just give them a good stir, 5 minutes on a simmer, and they'll be done. Ooh, time to dish up and enjoy. This is one of those recipes that it's really a good thing if you make a whole bunch of it because it reheats well and it freezes beautifully. Chicken and sun-dried tomato meatballs with lentils, how easy is that? Now listen, if you've got turkey in the house, it works absolutely great. And if you've got kids that are excited about something happening the next day and they're gonna have a hard time sleeping, that is the perfect time to substitute the chicken for turkey. That little bit of L-tryptophan will help them relax and go to sleep. Okay, today's shout outs are all about breads as side dishes. So first up, I want you to go and visit From the Little Yellow Kitchen and check out their lemon basil drop biscuits. I made them the other day just to check them out. They're light, fluffy, and absolutely delicious. So don't miss out on biscuits over at From the Little Yellow Kitchen. Second shout out today goes to Frugal Feeding for their rosemary farinata. If you like Italian food and you don't know farinata, it's time you learn all about it. It's a chickpea flour based, kind of a cross between a bread and a pancake. Absolutely delightful beyond measure. Get to know farinata over at Frugal Feeding. As always, thank you for visiting. Until next time, I'm gonna miss you. Oh, by the way, try these and leave me a message in the comment section on how you and your family like my chicken meatballs with lentils.